We were incredibly fortunate with Xena. I had forever and a day wanted to make a female superhero show, and I could only see Wonder Woman, and couldn't figure out what it was. And then I had seen some Hong Kong movies and went, well, I know how to make a really great woman villainous. And so I showed it to the head writer on Herc at the time and said we should do some stuff like this, and he totally got it. And so the idea of Xena was really an evil character, Hercules' nemesis. I think we shot those in early January of 1995, and within 2 weeks of finishing the first episode on a 3-episode arc, the studio came to us and said, and Hercules hadn't even gone on the air yet, literally. The series was coming on the end of January, and the studio saw the first rough cut and said, that's a much more compatible show to go with Hercules than what we currently have. We'd like to do it as a series, and it took another 2 months to get that cemented. At that time, my partner Sam had just been involved in The Quick and the Dead, which was Sharon Stone as a gunfighter, and certainly there hadn't been any successful female action shows or action movies that had worked. So Sam worked very hard on the original first episode of Xena, came up with ideas about the father and the family and those kind of things, but was never, I don't think, as sold initially on the idea that it could be like Hercules. And it took a year and an entirely different crowd to come and see Xena than was watching Hercules. Everything came together. The person the studio had asked us to cast as Xena and Hercules fell out. Lucy fell in. It never would have worked with anybody else, or it would have been very difficult with anyone else in the lead to pull that off. And to have the dedication and the hours of work over 6 years, she and Renee really made that show work. Lucy ended up as Xena through a whole series of, by default. At that time, Universal Television was making a series called Weird Science with the star Vanessa Angel, and they happened to have a hiatus during January and early February, and one of our executives said, could you please use Vanessa Angel, because she's very promotable and a fine actress in her own right, in Hercules as this evil warrior woman? And we went, sure, very attractive woman. She had actually come in to audition for us on one of the early Herc movies, and sent Vanessa off to horseback riding school, sent her off to martial arts school, and although she's a great actress and a great comedian, we kept getting reports back from the horse wrangler and from the martial arts trainer going, geez, guys, you could be in trouble with this. You're going to really have to double her. And we said, fine, we've doubled people all the time. And then December 29th, I got a call from her manager saying, Vanessa's trapped in London, she's sick as a dog, she can't fly, and she's going to have to pull out of that part. And we went, oh my God, what are we going to do? It's impossible to cast, and we had to start shooting. So we kind of scrambled, and we had used Lucy in the previous episode of Hercules, and I made a bunch of calls to women who I had worked with prior to that and said, do you want to go down and do this part? And they said no. And finally I called Eric Grundeman, who is the producer down here in New Zealand, and said, Eric, how about finding Lucy and see if she can do it? Because she had, and I told the studio, because they didn't know they were doing a Xena series. It was just for a 3-episode arc. And they went, yeah, well, you just used her. And we said, well, we'll dye her hair black. They went, okay, I guess, yeah, fine. Because on basically December 31st, nobody from America was going to get on a plane and fly to New Zealand to be in Hercules, the syndicated show. So they found Lucy off camping somewhere, and that's kind of the rest was history. So.